What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Litecoin today at the request of K Carvel. We're doing this for you, my friend. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, you guys, and let's get into it. Here we are sitting at about $105 right now, looking like we're on the precipice of breaking out of this consolidation phase here, right? Seems like we are. At least to me it does, because here, whenever we found our high, we rolled over and we went to our low. Here, when we found our high, we rolled over and found our low. Here, when we found our high, well, we've kind of, it seems a little bit different. I mean, it's not a whole lot of iterations to go off of, and of course, we could go down here and it would look perfect. But it does seem that this little phase here is different than either of these phases that preceded these drops that led us to this area in the first place. So it does seem to be a bit different. And not only that, if you look at this for what it is as a consolidation phase, when you come to the end of a consolidation phase, generally, so does your volume come to some very low points. So likely we are at the end of this. We're either going to break out to the downside or to the upside, okay? And that's what this volume means. I don't know about you guys, but whether we move down or not, whether we move up or not from here, I can't see us breaking down. We're at $105. Could the price go below $95 again? Sure, it's possible. But are we going to break down? Are we going to see a breakout to the downside? Probably not, right? Probably that's I'm quite confident that we don't. In fact, I'm very confident even that we probably don't even go below these lows here. It's possible we go below those lows. It's fine. It can happen. But we could still break out to the upside, right? Even with that, we could go all the way down here, form new lows, right, and still break out to the upside. But I don't think we'll break out to the downside. So that should be very encouraging. Just this look itself, I feel like it's very obvious. Finding support here at previous areas of resistance, finding support above the green line here on a 3-day basis, on a weekly basis, sloping it up, yes, from a relative low to a relative high, finding support at the 382 on a closing basis. I'm sorry, guys. Consolidating also at previous areas of resistance going back in time. It's like you broke out of this range, you pulled back just to consolidate right here, and now, right, it's like your farewell kiss. It's your kiss goodbye, and now you're off to the races, off to what is to be expected, right, which is your general retracement of this overall move here from last cycle's highs to the bear cycle lows. If I had to guess where you're going to go, I mean, the minimum expectation would be $170 to $201. But with how far you've come already, and the fact that you've essentially already broken out of this range, and now you're just back testing the area of resistance for support, I don't think you stop here. I would think the actual true minimum for this move, you're at $104 now. I think the true minimum is going to be $250 to $317. That's your kind of range. I said true minimum. That's your true minimum, I think, is $251. That's your true minimum. True maximum might be like $317, $413, something around your all-time highs, right? And I mean, I suppose there's a case to be made that you could stop around $200 as well. There is a real case to be made, but I think I think 251, the 786 is likely where you would go at least, if not something a little bit above there. I really do believe that by the end of this move, you could be at prices that are above 300, even above this 886 by the end of this move. Now, when's this move going to end? Probably not until February or even like the beginning of March. I think that this move probably goes into the middle end of February is my expectation. At the latest, maybe early March, like the first week of March, but probably the mid areas of February is what my expectation is. We go into the end of February, starting to consolidate, going into the beginning of March, halfway points of March, consolidating. End of March, beginning of April, we start to move up again, is kind of my thoughts. But yeah, man, what's going to be cool and what also makes sense in my opinion to not just stop here is if Litecoin gets to 170, you guys, if Litecoin starts to show some life, if it gets above $200, there's going to be a lot of people who were naysayers back here who weren't so sure if Litecoin was going to do well. But then I'll tell you what, man, looking at this thing for what it is here, in this overall consolidation phase right now, it might not seem to the average person in crypto. It might be a talking point of like shit talking to be like, haha, Litecoin's not going to go anywhere. It's going to break out to the downside. It's easy to say that when out of this whole consolidation phase, you're at the lower limits. It's easy to say that. But whenever you're up here, whenever out of this whole consolidation phase, you're on the upper sides of it. People are going to start to see what everybody who's been investing in Litecoin this whole cycle and for cycles before see. They're going to see the new horizon that awaits us. They're going to see those $1,000, multi-$1,000 targets come into their heads, right? It's and with that, with all that kind of assumption that I'm making here, I would assume that with all that excitement to come into play, that a move up to 170 or 200, that would press some excitement. So that would at least push the price up a little higher. 250, 317, that could press the excitement. Like when I say you could be above $300 by the end of this move, even by the end of January, if not by the end of February, I really mean it, right? I think that this next move, even at its minimum, even if it only went up to 170, it would breathe in new life to Litecoin that it hasn't had all cycle. It'll put it back on the map. It'll shine it in a new light than it's been all cycle. And people will start to see this for what it truly is, right? It's just a bullish phase of consolidation. If we look at it on the all-time history, it's a lot more obvious, right? That is nothing to be ashamed of. Last cycle was a dud. But this cycle, the odds of you topping off at the same area you topped off the last two cycles are greatly diminished. Likely, you tear through it. And if not, well, then Litecoin probably is dead. But I doubt that, right? I do believe we got enough cycle left in us that not only would we return back to these highs, but exceed them. And it might not seem obvious that Litecoin sees new all-time highs while we're down here. But by the time it's very obvious, right? Litecoin will not be at $100 anymore. It'll be at like near $300, right? By that time, everybody will be jumping on the party bus. Everybody who really deserves Litecoin, they would have gotten in on it at way cheaper prices, and then you will just be able to enjoy the fruits that you have sown, the seeds that you have sown, right? You'll be able to reap the rewards at a greater factor than the people who buy it whenever it finally becomes obvious, right? So I got nothing else to say, guys. I'm just rambling at this point, right? That last little bit was more of me just like, I don't know. I don't even know what to say, essentially. I guess it was just me complimenting the LTC people who've been holding, who've been convicted for a while. $105 now. It'd be nice, man. You need to get above. You need to get above like $106. We need to get days to close above 106. Like today needs to do it, because if we close below 101, that might be a nasty look. But I don't know, right? Because you close below it here, you reject it there, and then close below it again. You should have gone down, but here you are again. Maybe you are just about to break out to the upside. I don't know. Maybe it's not that big of a deal if you close below here. Maybe you can, and then you're still good. It's definitely pinched. It's definitely pinched, this daily ribbon. It's definitely pinched pretty hard. I would think that you do expand out of it. Weekly looks fine. Weekly looks fire. Right? You can see the difference between this week and any of these other ones, right? Didn't have the cross, barely had the cross, and then you came down. As soon as you had the cross, you started moving down into it. Here you got the cross, barely for a little bit. You moved down into it, and that's nice. Holding support on it's nice, but still not quite the respect that you wanted, right? You didn't get that separation like you do to the downsides here, right? But then this next move, you crossed, you continued to grow, and then after you'd crossed sometime, after you start to like really flare this ribbon out, you came down, you found immaculate support at that ribbon, and now you're also expanding. The ribbon here looks different than it did here, looks different than it did here. Might you do something different than that? Might you do something different? I think you will. So hit the like button, you guys. Subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.